It's A Wee Natter. I'm Marc Steele, and across the table from me is...
Jenny Steele.
Yes, and we are joining you on the week that everyone tuned in to watch Elon Musk blow 44 billion quid in about 44 minutes.
Oh, wow. Sounds like me on a shopping spree.
It does a bit, doesn't it? And I don't even do that much twittering.
No, I don't.
I've had an account for over a decade now. I don't know much of it. But looking at what's been happening there and what Elon's been up to, it's like that bit where you lied on your job interview going, yeah, I know all about that. Do it all the time to then fail spectacularly on probation. It feels a little bit like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And on a more upbeat topic, because we do upbeat topics, the postbag has arrived.
Ooh.
Yay! Last time we asked you, what is something you've not seen in a very long time? A couple of people have been in touch, starting with Cheryl Warner, saying, I agree, I haven't seen Lincoln biscuits for a long time, and we're in a green plaque. Usually we have Brazil nuts at Christmas.
Do you know what? I'm amazed because I thought I imagined Lincoln biscuits. I'm so pleased that Cheryl remembers them too. I'm quite pleased with that.
I didn't have a clue whatsoever what you're on about with Lincoln biscuits. So I had a look on the internet. Apparently they were a thing till about 20 years ago or something like that. They were big in the 70s and 80s. And they're still sold in Ireland in green Jacobs packets.
Are they?
With Lincoln written across it.
20 years ago. I don't know what he's trying to say, Cheryl, but I'm just going to brush over that one.
Also be in touch, Slap Ups, the Polywaffle chocolate bar.
Slap Ups, what a brilliant name.
That's
I love it.
That's what they've called themselves. They're saying a Polywaffle chocolate bar, which I never heard.
I've not heard of that.
I think it's an Australian thing, if I remember correctly. It's a chocolate log filled with marshmallow type stuff. Got them through their childhood, and that did smiley face.
Yeah.
It does sound good.
You see, I'm not a marshmallow fan.
It sounds kind of like ready-made s'mores without the biscuit.
What's a s'more?
It's biscuit, marshmallow and chocolate usually made over a campfire. So it's melted in a bit.
Chocolate sounds like a wagon wheel.
It's not that bad, I'll be honest with you. And finally, Matthew Summers saying, a table in the hall with a chair for the telephone
Oh, wow, yeah, Matthew, yeah, I remember that. Did it have like a little doily tablecloth over the top as well? You had obviously one of the old-fashioned, well, I don't know what I'm saying, obviously, it might not have, but the one where you stick your finger in and you have to dial. It's a killer when you want to dial a 9. Do you know which one I mean? The old-fashioned...
Yeah, I totally know why they made it 999 when they were... Because it was all done when those phones were the thing.
Yeah.
But I must have shaved some lives out over the years. You know, it takes so long for it to dial around to 9.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
It could take you 20 minutes just to dial the number. So by the time you get there, you're like, oh, no, I don't need it anymore, mate.
That's brilliant. I totally forgot about the table in the hall for the telephone.
Yeah.
Keep your yellow pages on and your white pages.
Funnily enough, you mentioned the yellow pages because he also said in copies of the phone book and yellow pages nearby, and no sense of privacy when anyone in the family could loiter and eavesdrop.
And they did it on purpose. I think me and Matthew were in sync there. We both thought of the yellow pages. Yeah, you shut the door, but it didn't. Actually, sometimes if you wanted to go into the hall as well, you couldn't shut the door because the cable wouldn't let you shut the door fully. But yeah, I know what you mean. Somebody always needed to go through the hall, didn't they? Either upstairs to the bathroom, and you're like, oh.
And even if you're posh enough to have more than one phone on the line, so you had a little extension.
Or more than one door.
Or anything like that. There was nothing stopping somebody else from just lifting the receiver up and listening.
True.
I caught a few breathing noises on the line in the past. And
you could hear a click though, couldn't you, when they pick it up? Like a little click.
There was a little click, and it was usually thinking they're being sneaky. That's what I remember. Yeah. And on that note, dear listener, let's have a wee natter. If you have been following this podcast at all, dear listener, you will know about our long, difficult and important mission that we are on to scour the country and find the best mince pie in Britain for 2022.
It's been difficult, Mark. It's getting difficult now because more and more people are suggesting mince pies. I've not been out and brought. So what have I had to do? I've gone out and brought, haven't I?
Oh, you've got a bit mad for it. And let me explain. Because every week we're bringing you one more contender for the crown. That was the plan. We'd try a different mince pie every week and say, well, where it comes on the rankings.
Yeah.
Bit of bad news. We've now got more mince pies than weeks. And there's still more to gather, dear listener, as we're working our way through your suggestions. So we've got a conundrum. How do we solve this problem?
I don't know. We're going to have to eat more mince pies now. We can't just do one a week now. We're just going to have to do 2 or 3 a week or something.
Which is exactly what we're going to do. And just to remind you, dear listener, so far the table has 2 entrants. Number 2 is Tesco finest rich and decadent spice mince pie. Spice rum mince pie. Decadent is an important word there. And Asda on top with their extra special luxury slow gin mince pie. This week, we got 2 contenders.
And I think one of them is because one of Sooty's fans had suggested and said they're always the best. So I've obviously had to go out and buy one, haven't I? Because I never thought of this particular mince pie until it was mentioned.
Which is bizarre considering they're a national bakery chain.
Yeah.
You would have thought that would be an obvious contender to go for. So the 2 contenders we've got on the table, we have got Greg's.
Yes.
Mince pie. They don't call it anything else. It's just mince pie. It comes in a box. Everyone's a winner.
Has it got alcohol in?
It doesn't say it. It just says mince pie on the side of it. It's not quite as bad as when I was a student. I used to buy frozen meat to go with my pasta. And I had a look at and it was pre-minced.
Yeah.
So I literally said mince on the front of it. And it said top ingredient when you went to the back of it, meat.
So you don't know what you're eating.
Could have been everything. I don't know.
See, I don't know what alcohol I'm consuming here with this Greg's.
Well, I'm sure you'll find out. And the other one, I'll admit, is due to a slight muck-up on my side. Right?
Oh.
I went into the co-op to go buy mince pies, which is an important bit.
Yeah.
I thought, right, okay, I can't find them. The only ones I can find are the big ones.
Whoa.
They're about 4 times the price of anyone else's, but I'm like, okay, fair enough.
They look nice.
Yeah, they're the posh ones and all that.
I've got photos today, haven't I? I took a couple of photos, so they will be up on the social medias, won't they?
Yes. The mince pies I was supposed to buy were right next to the checkout.
Oh.
So I had the posh ones in my hand at that point when I spotted the correct ones. So I was basically committed to buying at that point. So I've ended up buying both, and we will rate both of them because I done goofed. I will hold my hands up and say that. So starting with the first one, you remember how you're scoring them?
Yes, so it's appearance, taste, and texture, wasn't it?
Appearance, taste, and texture.
Yeah.
So we're starting with Greg's.
Starting with the Greg's.
Generic mince pie. What do you think of the look of it?
So they look all right. Again, they've got the dusting of ice and sugar on the top. It's not as golden brown as some of the other ones that we've looked at, but they look quite nice. They've got that little old-fashioned, where you turn the back of your fork round and you do that, prick your fork round the edges. It's got that little design going on.
Oh, I want to call it tassel, but not quite. I know the sort of...
Yeah.
Ribbed isn't the word for it either.
No, not really. Not on this show.
You get the idea. And just like if you make it mince pies at home, it's leaky.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got the fork where you've stabbed the fork at the top as well. So, let's have a look at this one then. Are you ready?
Give it a good old bite.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
It's quite juicy. Straight away I felt some of the mincemeat. I'm not tasting alcohol though. Are you?
I don't think they're saying there's alcohol in it. I think you're assuming that every mince pie in the world you can light on fire and get drunk on.
I like it. The pastry's nice and buttery. I like it.
Okay. How do you rate it against the other 2 you've seen so far? Because in my opinion, this feels like the sort of thing that your little local baker might throw together at F8 or something like that. That's where I'm
It's very homemade, isn't it? It's like when you go around to somebody's house for Christmas and they offer you a mince pie. I'm going to say it's better than Asda.
Oh, that would put it at the top.
Yeah, but we've got a Tesco though, haven't we?
Oh, you're gonna
No, I couldn't
them.
tell the difference between Tesco and you had to rate the Tesco.
So you're saying this is top billing so far?
First bite, I did get some of the mixture. It was quite nice and juicy. So for that reason, I'm going to say the Greg's so far.
Oh, wow.
Because I had to have a couple of bites from the last one, didn't I? Because it was all pastry, no filling. But this time I got pastry and I could feel the filling exploding, so to speak. So I'm going to go, for that reason, I'm going to go Greg's.
So now we've got a new number 1.
We have, yes.
And we've got one more mince pie.
We have, yes.
This one is
nice.
Co-op's bakery one. It's the fancy one. It's got a star shape.
It looks like the Costa ones, doesn't it? Am I supposed to say that?
I think you can say that, yeah. So effectively they've cut a star shape out and that's the lid. And that's
But we haven't tried Costa yet either. Oh.
So, what are your thoughts when you see it?
I like it. I like the star. Again, it's got a sprinkling of the ice and sugar on the top. It's quite a decent size.
Yep.
It's very crumbly as you take it out its case. Let's have a try. Should we have a try? Mark's already tried. This one's dry.
It is. Admittedly, it was bought yesterday, I think. But it wasn't bought today. It's not fresh. So I can't knock too many points off for that. But you're not convinced.
No, I'm going to say this week for me, it's the Greg's. What about you?
So Greg's at the top. Then you've got Asda and Tesco, and then the Co-op fancy
Tesco. One. So Greg's, Tesco. Do you know what? I don't want to be horrible, but I'm going to put this one last. So I'm going to go Asda and then the Co-op. Okay,
we got a new order. So number 4 is Co-op with their bakery one, the big one. In a number 3 is Asda, number 2 is Tesco, and number 1 is Greggs.
The Greggs.
There you go. That wasn't the outcome I was expecting, dear listener, if I'm completely honest with you. And remember, you can have your say and you can get involved as well. If you know of a mince pie we might be missing, get in touch at Solid Radio UK or at Solid Sooty as we crack on with the mission to find the best mince pie in Britain for 2022. I'll hold my hands up and admit I made a mistake this week, dear listener, on going onto the internet. I read one article and I'm completely outraged.
Go on then.
I am properly angry and upset and just outraged entirely. I'll start by asking you the question, what do you, this is you dear listener, and you Jenny as well, know about Iron Brew?
It's made in Scotland from girders.
Yeah, you'd say it's made in Scotland, wouldn't you, right? But what if I told you it's based on a drink originally produced in New York?
Really?
Yeah, I don't believe it either.
I don't.
But I had a look and it's genuine. And it got me wondering what other things we took for granted just aren't real. And I found a list of them, right? One of them, Napoleon wasn't short. Can't say I even noticed, to be honest with you. Never saw him standing next to one of those height charts we all have in our doorways in pencil.
Imagine that. How did they find out?
That's a very good question. Do you remember that tongue map from school where they show you a picture of the tongue and say, there's where the sweet bit is, there's where the bitter bit is, and all that?
Oh, we never had that.
That was one of the ways you used to get taught about taste and things like that. Nonsense, apparently. The whole of our tongue tastes all the different tastes.
Does it?
Yeah.
It's good to know.
So there's no such thing as there's like a bitter section at the back of the tongue or anything.
Yeah.
Like. Otherwise, you would only be able to eat certain parts of food with certain parts of your mouth.
Parts of your mouth, yeah. That's weird, isn't
It'd be
it?
a bit weird. And finally, one seasonal fact for you, dear listener, because we are getting close to Christmas.
Yeah.
3 wise men.
Yeah.
Apparently, nowhere in the Bible does it say they were free. So you know how school nativities...
I'm going to blame James Blunt then.
Yeah, you know how school nativities run out of characters very quickly.
Yeah.
Especially after you've given the big Scottish lad the angel Gabriel, right?
Yeah.
You just start padding out with trees and donkeys and sheep and anything you can think of that's vaguely outside natural related, that's a part.
Yeah.
Why don't you just keep adding wise men?
What?
You'll be biblically accurate then, won't you?
I thought they brought the frankincense, myrrh and the other one that nobody can remember.
Yeah.
Frankincense, myrrh, what was the other one?
Yeah, you're right. But nowhere did it say there was 3 wise men.
Oh.
So you could add as many as you like. Though it'd end up looking like a chess convention crashing a labour ward with 15 wise men rocking up. But I think it can work.
Yeah. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I'm doing a bit of Slimming World at the minute.
Uh-oh. You're on a diet, which, bad news, dear listener, that means I'm on a diet as well.
Yes.
No choice in the matter. Okay.
And here we are doing the mince pies, but we won't mention that. So Slimming World consultants listening, it's not true. So lunches I always find quite a bit of a challenge. So I've been having jacket potato. When you're out and about, it's quite tricky. I tend to always fall back on a jacket potato.
Which is the staple of school and work canteens.
With beans. With beans on, baked beans on.
All right, yeah.
Yeah. I was out today and lunch, jacket potato. And then I thought I must mention this when we do our wee natter because I don't know if anybody else has ever found this out, but jacket potatoes can vary between where you buy them from a really small size of a potato with loads of beans on. So it's basically like, would you like a potato with your beans? Or a decent sized potato with like a spoon of beans and a couple of forkfuls and you've got no beans left. You've got a load of potato. But today, I got to be honest, can I mention the place we went to?
You can mention it if you really want.
Yeah. So I feel like I need to actually ring up and just basically congratulate them really. So I went to a place in Nottingham called Rufford Abbey, really nice place, bit of a country park, have a walk around, went in the cafe and ordered a jacket, as I say. And it came in a nice kind of, almost like a takeaway box that you would take away a cake in. Anyway, I opened it up, really decent sized jacket potato, absolutely brimming. And there were Heinz baked beans, Mark, Heinz baked beans. And I just thought, do you know what? This is the bee's knees. The bean to potato ratio was spot on. And I just thought I'd mention that on this wee natter because I didn't know if anybody else had that little bit of an issue when they're out and about and they have a jacket potato. But this was spot on. And I think credit where credit's due. Rufford Abbey, you just got that spot on. And I just wanted to say that.
And I'll just keep sneaking off the burger farm, which is not looking. Now, there are some smells in the world that have a real impact on you, aren't there? Around these parts, you can tell it's full of Bob Marley enthusiasts. You can't stop bumping into them. You just smell emanates from everywhere. Though, mind you, I take that smell over the natural fertiliser being sprayed on the fields when it gets to that time of year.
Oh, not sure for me.
Really? Yeah. They're both as bad as each other in your mind?
No, the other one is worse, I'd say.
Wow. But they're bad smells. And that got me wondering, what are the better smells, the best smells out there? What do you think are the best smells?
Going around departmental stores and spraying on all the perfume testers. I love them.
I don't think you're supposed to huff them.
And the thing is as well, I don't know if anybody else does this, but you know when you go out and buy a new air freshener, do you have a little bit of a sneaky spray in the shop first before you purchase, just in case you don't like the smell?
I think that's called theft.
I don't do that, but I do like all the different flavours now that they call them, because we're coming into winter. Winter Walk, Snow Breeze, and you're like, I want to buy that just for the name and the packaging. So that sort of thing I like. Fabric conditioners, all the kind of sort of thing.
It could smell like the strongest cheese known to man, complete with the blue veins through it and everything like that. But so long as it said Winter Wonderland or something, you'd buy it.
I probably would, yeah.
I'll need to remember that. Some of the nice smells you get out there, things like petrol.
Yeah, I like petrol. And what they did, the tarmac.
Oh, when they're laying that.
That's nice.
That's one of those smells you only smell about once a decade.
Yeah.
Because there is no money in local council anymore. So that's as often as you get to see these things happen. And some people say the ocean is a nice smell. But I've lived in a concrete block on the coast. It really depends what day you hit it on, doesn't it?
It really does, yeah.
But one I can say always works is campfires. When you set it yourself.
Oh, yeah.
They always smell good. So I'm going to open it up to you, dear listener. What is the best smell in your opinion? Let us know through the socials at Solid Radio UK or at Solid Sooty. Or if you're on Spotify, a question will pop up and you can tap on it and stick your answer in there as well. And we will share your thoughts in a future episode.
I've got a bit of a funny one now. These are real life issues, these are, Mark. Real life problems.
I am bracing myself here. Go for it.
I was in the kitchen the other day and I heard this. Well, I didn't know it was the dishwasher at first kicking in. I thought that Alexa had started to play something from Solid Radio. But is it New Order, Blue Monday? The dishwasher kicked in and it just sounded like the beginning of Blue Monday, New Order. And I thought, I hadn't heard this one for ages. And it was the dishwasher, so I'm trying to think, has anybody else out there actually had the same experience?
So the way I remember the intro of that song going is it starts with this sort of electronic beat.
Yeah,
so long as the dishwasher isn't making noises in line with the drum drop of dun 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 dun. If it makes noises like
got
that,
air brakes.
I am really worried. I was worried you were going to say that, and I'm thinking, oh my God, what's this going to cost to fix?
And one more thing I want to mention.
Yeah.
Not connected with the dishwasher. I was coming back on the bus the other day and I saw my first gritter of the year.
Does that mean you are on?
Gritter watch, snow watch, flake watch.
All the watches.
All the watches.
You've kind of blown it now, but we've got the music churning along in the background now.
Yeah.
No, it is indeed FlakeWatch, dear listener, which is where all the media, all your television, all your local radio stations go into this weird mode at this time of year where they're looking out for the first flake of snow so they can go to panic stations and tell you about all the important school and road closures and all that stuff. And if you come across anything like that, get in touch and we will be first to share it with the rest of the world as part of FlakeWatch this year.
Excellent.
Don't have nightmares. So while we were out and about acquiring our haul of mince pies, and it is literally getting to a haul now.
Can't even fit them in the cupboard, can we?
They fit in my belly, that's the important bit. I encountered something I've literally not seen in decades. What could I be on about? Yeah, what do you think I'm on about?
Cash.
Cash. Are you saying I'm poor? No, I have seen cash more recently than that. I'm talking about Christmas decorations. Which, if I leave it at that, makes me sound like Scrooge.
I know what you're going to say.
It's the type of decorations that takes you back in time. It's paper and tinfoil decorations that fan out into like ball shapes and things like that.
Let me set the scene. I can remember as a kid, and it always had to be my dad that put them up. And you get those paper chains that go from all the four corners of the living room. They'd all meet in the middle. Then you get those little fan-shaped globes that you'd stick up, one in each corner. And then you'd get balloons. It had to be in groups of 3. And if you were naughty, you'd have the 2 round balloons with the long sausage balloon, but maybe not. And then you'd have the balloons, tie them together, and you pin them in each corner of the room as well, and then one in the middle. And obviously with your tree. And that was your Christmas decorations in the 70s.
So it appears they're making a comeback at the moment. And you're saying the 70s, that's what you associate with those type of
paper chains, yeah. You know those paper chains that you lick and you keep threading through?
Yes, I know the ones you're on about. What I associate them with in my mind is a fire hazard. Especially as when they were popular, it was coal and wood fires. We
had the coal fire, yeah.
But the real question is, do we want to bring them back and make them popular again?
It's a tricky one, isn't it? I like them, but you know what the problem is with them?
What?
The catchers always used to snap. So once that hook's gone, you try folding it round and making it stay. It just keeps springing back on itself again.
Have you not heard of double-sided sticky tape?
Yeah, but that falls off after a while. It comes unstuck. And even the blue tack didn't seem to do a good job either. Or if they've lost their sort of bounce, they just droop.
They wilt.
They just wilt.
Yes.
So I'm not 100% sure on this one.
So should they be made popular again, or should they die in the memories of Christmas past? We'll leave that decision up to you, dear listener. That was, unfortunately, dear listener, A Wee Natter. I was Marc Steele, and across the table from me was...
I'm Jenny Steele. Just one thing I want to quickly mention. So I think it was Sonia Derbyshire mentioned, just going quickly back on the mince pie, she did say homemade mince pies are the best. Now, Sonia, if you want to send us some of your homemade mince pies, we'll certainly include them in the challenge. I'm game, I am.
That is a proper ballsy move you just made there.
I love Sonia.
If you just happen to be making a whole load of things that involve a lot of work, we'll kindly take them off you free of charge. Yeah, that'll be fine. No. But one of the things we advise, dear listener, about A Wee Natter is that there are many ways to listen to it. One of them is through the Wee Natter feed on your podcatcher of choice. The other one is through the Solid Radio feed on your podcatcher of choice. One comes purely with us. The other one, you get all sorts of other weird and wonderful stuff in there as well. You do. The decision is yours. But the important bit is that you hit the subscribe button and you tell all your mates and all the people you don't like and everyone you happen to bump into over your next week that A Wee Natter's a thing and they need to get it on their device.
They do, yes. I'd love it if I was famous all over the world. And we've got listeners all over the world, you know.
On that note, we will catch you next time.
Bye.